Okay, the answers to the warm-up in lesson 106 here is, we've got negative 125, and I get 4.0 times 10 to the negative 1, because 8 times 5 is 40, and 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2, but that actually is 4 times 10 to the positive 1. Positive 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1, so we get 4.0 times 10 to the negative 1. Now this one is kind of funny. This is how I did it, is I saw that if we double 1.8, we get 3.6. Okay, so this is double that. So if we double 0.9, we get 1.8. And there you go. Converting 2 square yards to square feet. What I did in my head was, okay, 2, and then there are 3 feet in a yard. So I did 2 times 3 times 3, which is 18 square feet. All right, this one, 16 2/3 of 45. Well, 2/3 is 63 2/3. So 2/3 of 45 is 30, okay, because 1/3 is 15. In fact, here's 1/3 more than 45. Well, 1/3 of 45 is 15, and add that to 45 and we get 60, okay? All right, so now let's jump into literal equations. Okay, we've pretty much been already working on these, so it shouldn't be too bad except for this idea of solving for a letter. Okay, a literal equation is an equation that contains letters instead of numbers. So you'll see that we have no numbers in these equations, and we can rearrange or transform the literal equations by using the rules we have learned. Okay, so I wrote this. Literal equation is an equation that contains letters instead of numbers. So they're all letters, but they follow all the rules we've learned. Okay, here it says solve for x. What that means, solving for x means, write this down, means get x alone. All right, so here's x, and he needs to be alone, but this a is over on his side. So how do we get rid of it? We subtract that a, but we've got to subtract it from both sides. Okay, so here my a's disappear and become 0, so now I've got x alone, but a and b, they're not like terms, so they just have to stay separate. So we say b minus a, and that is the final answer. This is called isolating the variable. Okay, you're going to do this all the way throughout upper level math. Okay, so this is not going to be the first time or the last time you see this. All right, solve for x here, get x alone. Well, now it's got an a with it, but it's not by addition, it is by multiplication. So how do we get rid of that a? We divide both sides by a. And what happens is those cancel out, and we get x equals b over a, and there's nothing else you can do. So they don't take a long time. I think just understanding what to do is the hard part. Okay, so now we've got formulas. Okay, formulas are literal equations that we can use to solve certain kinds of problems. You know, like the area of a circle is a formula. Okay, so we've been using formulas, and often it's necessary to change the way the formula is written. Okay, so let's see what we're talking about here. On example 3, solve for w. Let's say we knew our area and we knew our length, but we don't know our width. Okay, if it says solve for w, it means we want to get width by itself. So width is stuck with the length by multiplication. So let's divide both sides by our length. Okay, those cancel out. So we see that we have w equals area divided by length. And I'm going to write it with w in front. And that's all we do. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the practice and see how you do. You've got four shots at it, so let's go ahead and try. Okay, solve for a. I mean a by itself, got to get rid of that b. So we get a equals c minus b. Okay, solve for w in this one. Gotta get rid of by the x. So w equals y divided by x. Okay, solve for y. So we're going to add b to both sides. And so we get y equals mx plus b. And that's a very special, dear equation to me, to my heart. And we'll use that later on when we're doing graphing. All right, letter D, the formula for the area of a parallelogram is area equals base times height. Let's say we knew our area and our height, but we don't know our base. So we want to get b by itself. So we divide both sides by h. So b equals a over h. So that way, if you knew your area and your h, you knew you just do a division problem to get your base. Okay, and that is it. Luckily, that's a short one because yesterday was a lot longer. And